Good afternoon, welcome. My name is Brian Gary. I serve as the chair of the Olathe Chamber of Commerce's Business to Government Advocacy Committee, and it's my honor to moderate today's forum for the Olathe School Member District 4 position. The Johnson County Public Policy Council, comprised of the 10 chambers of commerce serving Johnson County, developed today's questions focusing on both business and community issues. We'll start today with 3 brief minutes of opening statements by each candidate, followed by our Q&A, where candidates will have a minute and a half to answer the questions. At the conclusion of the forum, each candidate will then have 2 minutes to make a closing statement. Due to time constraints, there will be no follow-up questions, any formal rebuttal time, or audience participation. Please note the candidate speaking order has been randomly determined before the forum began, and we will rotate it throughout the program. So we'll get started. I want to introduce our candidates, Claire Reagan and Holly Palacio, and ask that they give a brief background introduction on themselves and also explain why they feel they're qualified to serve on the Olathe School Board. And Holly, we'll start with you.
Thank you. Thank you, Brian, and thank you to all the chambers for this invitation. My name is Holly Palacio, and I am an advocate for every student, not an activist for any agenda, and I am running for the Olathe Public Schools Board of Education. I'm running to be an advocate for students, teachers, and parents, and will prioritize student needs while supporting teachers and treating parents in the community as partners in efforts to close the achievement gap for each and every student, increase college and career post-secondary success rates for every student, and prepare each student for success in a global economy. I was born in Dodge City, Kansas. I was raised in Topeka. I attended college in Kansas City at Rutgers University, and after a brief stint overseas, my husband and I intentionally selected Olathe to raise our 3 children. We've been here for over 20 years. All 3 have either graduated from or are currently attending Olathe Public Schools. My advocacy began for my own children due to special needs and learning disability issues. This led to my passionate advocacy on behalf of families and students across the county to both state and local boards of education and the state legislature to protect the right of every student to receive a high-quality public education, an education they deserve and our community expects. There are challenges ahead in public education, and they require innovative solutions. I am committed to working collaboratively across a wide diversity of interests and needs to find common ground, prioritize each student's success, and support teachers' needs. Every business leader knows the importance of first things first and attracting and retaining quality employees. Public education is no different, and we need an advocate for these priorities on the Board of Education. During our Leadership Olathe class, one local leader pointed out that Olathe doesn't have mountains or oceans to attract businesses or talent to the area, but we have quality public schools. We have a diverse and caring community, and we have a reasonable cost of living, all valuable assets in attracting businesses and employees to the area. I seek to serve on the Board of Education to continue to develop this particular asset and to bring stakeholders together collaboratively to ensure Olathe Public Schools delivers a world-class education to every student. Please allow me to emphasize just how significant this local-only election is to our business community and their employees. Local government is the most impactful to our day-to-day life, and every vote counts, and these local-only elections often decided by close margins. Thank you.
Thank you. Claire, your opening statement and why you feel you're qualified to serve on the Olathe School Board.
Hi, I'm Claire Reagan, and thank you so much for giving us the opportunity to introduce ourselves to the voters of Olathe so that they are able to make an informed decision in the November 7th election. I am a teacher, I am a parent, and I am an advocate, and I am running to strengthen our district, serve our students, and support our educators. Our public schools are the foundation of our community. They attract families and they bring economic growth. They are a magnet for possibility and progress. And as Holly said, our late Mayor Mike Copeland used to say a lot, why would people move here? We don't have mountains, we don't have beaches, but what we do have are really great public schools, and I'm glad we agree about that. I grew up in a military family in Nebraska. My 4 sisters and I learned the values of service and education from our father, who is a Vietnam veteran and civil engineer, and our mother, a community advocate and lifelong PTA member, who also served the American Red Cross during the Vietnam conflict. When I was 13 years old, we lost my father on a Sunday afternoon to a massive heart attack. And from there, my mom raised my younger sister and me on her own with the help of my 3 older siblings. The hard work ethic that my family instilled in me led me to becoming the valedictorian of my high school class, and I went on to the University of Nebraska-Lincoln, where I majored in English and secondary education. Strong public schools drew me away from Nebraska here to Johnson County, Kansas, as a public high school English teacher and a head coach for my first job out of college. After 6 years, I spent several more teaching advanced placement English in a private school here in Johnson County. So I am familiar with a wide range of educational situations, even more so now having been a substitute here in our Olathe School District the last 3 school years. I love subbing. I love seeing the variety of ways in which our teachers and professionals help our students excel. Teachers and educators are the glue that hold together our schools. And in order to put our kids first, we must put our educators right up there alongside them. My husband, Scott, he and I, we have 3 kids, 1 future and 2 current Olathe School students. And our family has lived in the Olathe School District for over 10 years. Another part of our parenting journey has been the path of special education. When our oldest son was 3 years old, we learned more about what makes his brain unique. While our journey with autism has been taken as our entire family, it's led me down a path of advocacy. Advocating for our son in doctor's offices, in evaluations, in IEP meetings, those conversations gave me the confidence to advocate beyond the immediate needs of our own children. And in 2018, when the Parkland, Florida tragedy struck, I refused to succumb to the powerlessness I felt as a parent. I began marching in parades and making phone calls with Moms Demand Action and attending community meetings, submitting testimony to Topeka, and using my voice. Thank you so much for the time.
Thank you, both of you, for your opening statements. So we'll start. Claire, you'll have the first response on the first question. As a school board candidate, what are your top 3 policy issues?
All right, so I think that having a productive and collaborative school community is at the forefront of what keeps our district great and strong. Children learn best in an environment that is safe and cooperative, and respect and kindness start from the top. As a board member, I will be an example for our students. Teacher and staff recruitment is the second highest priority for me. Support and retention of those staff. We rely on an amazing team, and we have to make sure that that team of professionals feels valued, fairly compensated, and sees investment in their personal career development. And finally, I support the current efforts to increase mental health services for our students and staff, and will advocate for further priorities and programs that prioritize student well-being and address the underlying mental health concerns that are facing our community.
Thank you. Holly, your top 3 policy issues, please.
As an advocate and not an activist, I do not approach policy with an agenda. I approach it with a policy to listen, learn, and lead. So I believe that students have a right to their public education. I believe that we need to be fiscally responsible with our resources, and I am committed to prioritizing the quality of education that our students need for their success in a global economy. Our public schools face many challenges that require innovative solutions, and I am committed to working collaboratively with others to overcome them. Our community needs to take a fresh, hard look at how we teach our students to read, write, and calculate, to reverse the trend in continually declining rates of proficiency, and return to excellence as the standard for public education, attracting jobs and families to our community.
Thank you. And Holly, you'll take this one first. What are your thoughts on K-12 education funding?
I believe that funding should prioritize classrooms, teachers, students directly, to include special education funding. The key to student success is our quality teachers, and funding doesn't guarantee positive outcomes unless we invest in retraining, retaining, and hiring great teachers. The investment in education begins before our children enter the classroom, prioritizing early childhood education. by directing resources toward equipping teachers with necessary tools and professional development opportunities, we enhance instructional quality and provide students needed support. Effective education goes beyond monetary investment. It involves empowering teachers and prioritizing teachers or students while fostering a love of learning and promoting individual growth.
Thank you. Claire, your thoughts on K-12 education funding, please.
Yes. Our school finance formula is complicated because student populations across the state of Kansas vary greatly. Children are assigned weightings based on the circumstances that make them more expensive to educate individually. Those who live in poverty or receive special education services, those who are more expensive to transport, those who are bilingual, all require different levels of support, and districts are given funds from the state based on those weightings. The Kansas courts have upheld this school finance formula and prescribed what is adequate funding. I do have an issue with the word adequate. We want to make sure that we aren't doing just what is necessary. We need to do more than we can. And I support that we are currently funding education for the last 5 years fully with that formula. But I also want to make sure we work with the state and federal government to fully fund special education for the first time in 10 years at the 92% excess cost level that is government mandated. That $36 million for the Olathe School District, which is currently coming out of our general education budget, would greatly benefit all of our Olathe students. So that requires collaboration at the state level and not just within our Board of Education. I also think it's responsible that we make sure we maintain the lowest sustainable tax rate so that our district can function fully, but our residents also feel that we take their dollars and their investment seriously. Thank you.
Great. Thank you both. Okay, we're moving along here, and we're at Claire for the first start of this question. The K-12 education system requires accountability measures for our student performances, focused on post-secondary success and career readiness. Do you believe the district is meeting these expectations for student achievement?
You know, we are very proud of our Olathe School District as a community, and we should be. You know, there are people who choose to move here and have their kids enrolled in our district because of all the opportunities that our district has available. I will say that there is always room for improvement, and that's the way a system as big as ours should be. You know, we should always look for ways to make things better. Specifically, the pandemic has impacted these types of accountability measures. To expect that there would be no impact on student performance and achievement in any area after such a hard time for our society is unrealistic. We must continue to strategically target our resources to make up the learning gap so we can help prepare our students to succeed in their futures, whatever those futures look like, whether they be post-secondary education, going into a trade, or going immediately into our workforce. We should scrutinize the achievement data we receive as a way to find those areas where we need to grow, while also considering that outcomes beyond a single snapshot of a test score are important to look at. Children are more than a number, and even though the scores are helpful tools, accountability measures, we need to make sure that those are looking at the full scope of who our kids are and the professionals who work tirelessly to educate them.
Thank you. And Holly, do you believe the district is meeting expectations for student achievement?
I believe that for some, yes, the district is meeting expectations. However, for many, there is room for improvement. Data from state assessments indicates that a substantial portion of Olathe students receive scores of 1 or 2 on math, reading, and science. This suggests that over 50% of students possess limited or basic understanding of these subjects. That is actually reflected in our own personal story with our children. Addressing this achievement gap requires a comprehensive approach that focuses on enhancing instructional strategies, targeted support to struggling students, and evidence-based interventions. By prioritizing accountability measures looking toward post-secondary success and career readiness, the district can work toward improving student achievement for all students.
Great, thank you both. Next question, Holly, you'll answer first on this one. Kansas is experiencing low unemployment rates and employers are struggling to find qualified workers. How do you see the school district helping to meet the business community's future workforce needs through work-based learning such as internships, training, and other career exploration opportunities?
I loved this question. The district's role, I believe, is to prepare students to be successful in a global economy. Kansas employers want Kansas employees, but our students will be competing with job applicants not only from across the country but around the world. The employee our public education produces needs to be able to compete, and that means closing the achievement gap and raising college and career readiness rates. This requires active and ongoing relationships with local businesses, inviting employers in for lunch and learn with students, mentor volunteer opportunities, and internships are great ways for local businesses to foster interest in their industries and bring real world experience to classroom lessons, which would foster not only a love of new interest, but build those relationships locally with businesses.
Thank you. Claire, your thoughts on how you see the school district helping to meet the business community's future workforce needs?
Well, first of all, we should continue working with area chambers of commerce to develop and strengthen relationships with local businesses so we can make sure that the district understands what the needs are so we can better prepare our students to meet those industry needs. We can continue to collaborate with Johnson County Community College. Our students transition to JCCC after graduation, as well as working toward various certifications within our high school programs in conjunction with the community college. So making sure that we're staying up to date with what is required of the workforce so students are ready to join that as early as they are capable of doing. Our 21st Century Academies already offer work-based learning experiences. Being that our children are still in elementary school, we've not experienced those from a parent point of view, but I have met numerous students who've gone through those experiences and felt well equipped to step into the next chapter of their lives. In particular, I love our Hire Our Own initiative that the district is doing, which is tied to the Future Educators Academy. It brings our students back to us as teachers once they earn their degree and become certified. And I think growing our own is something we could try to do across career paths, making sure that we spark that interest here in Olathe and generate interest in our students coming back to get jobs and raise kids and build their own futures here in our community.
Great. Thank you both. Claire, you'll go first on this one. What are your thoughts on efforts in the state legislature to expand school choice?
I do not support school vouchers. Public dollars belong in our public schools. Any policy that takes public tax dollars away from our most valuable resource for economic development is dangerous for our community. And remember, Kansas already offers school choice. By the current state statute, students who are on free and reduced lunch have an opportunity with the tax credit scholarship, and yet only approximately 1,300 students of the eligible 240,000 students in our state take advantage of this program. So before we expand such an initiative, maybe we should figure out why so few students right now are taking advantage of the funds that are already in place that are being diverted from public education. And also, if we are better able to shore up and support the schools we have that do serve 90% of our students at large, then we hope that students will be not drawn to look for other opportunities. Investing here in our public schools, again, that $36 million special education gap here in Olathe, that pulls resources from all the buckets that serve our kids. So if we invest here, I would hope that school choice isn't an option people are needing to seek.
Gotcha. Holly, your thoughts on efforts in the state legislature to expand school choice?
I believe that public education's best defense is a good offense, and that means emphasizing a high-quality, robust, rigorous public education for all students. Where there are students whose needs are not met in public education, there will always be efforts to find that education somewhere else. Our most effective strategy is to get back to basics, keep the politics out of the classroom, equip our teachers with the best training and tools, bring our community together to create a culture of kindness, and focus on college and career readiness.
Great, thank you. Holly, you'll go first with this one. Most important thing the Olathe School District is doing right currently?
Doing right. are. The best thing I think that our Olathe Public Schools does is communicate effectively and bring in decision makers to talk about and collaborate on best solutions to some of the biggest problems that our students are facing in the hallways and at home. Our emphasis on social, emotional learning, and the mental health of each of our students is probably our best example. The district has gone above and beyond in working with community leaders to talk about real solutions for our students who feel, I think, often overwhelmed by the amount of pressure and information and social tension that has been happening in their generation for the last couple of years. They are truly facing some pressures that people of my generation or older really never faced. Social media, information technology, the amount of data that is coming at our students and the rate at which it's coming, and the mental health impacts of that, I believe, are truly unique to our time. And I do believe that our public schools are doing a fantastic job at bringing the community into that conversation and creating some real solutions for our students.
Thank you. Claire, most important thing the Olathe School District is doing right.
Well, I think that you can look at this question from a macro level where, you have district leadership making decisions, having focus groups, doing surveys, and trying to find the best way forward. But I like to think about the stories I hear when I talk to people in our community. At a micro level, our schools are doing so much for our kids in the classrooms with the teachers. I think about the stories I hear from everyday residents of Olathe who aren't as plugged in as maybe Holly and I are with everything that's going on at board meetings and at the district level. And we have amazing teachers and we have amazing support staff in our buildings who every day come in and try to have a connection with a kiddo. And I know that kind of mentality and that kind of culture is brought from the leadership setting a tone where we want each child to feel connected to our school community, where each child feels like he or she belongs in that classroom. And I know that there are larger initiatives that we have in place to help our community feel safer with school buildings. I love the little push button security feature that's been added for all of our staff, where I think the original thing was to keep things secure in really high tension situations. We've had instances where teachers have had hard moments with kids who need more support, and people have been able to come in and again surround a student, make sure that teacher is equipped with what they need to make that kiddo feel safer and in place in the classroom. So I would say what we're doing right is school. The day-to-day function of what we do in school is what I see as our biggest strength.
Great. Thank you both. Claire, what do you think is the greatest challenge facing the Olathe School District?
I feel like the divisive public discourse around public education, not just here in Olathe, but in our country, is causing a chain reaction. The anger and the half-truths mounting over, in particular, the last 3 years have impacted educators and accelerated the doubt in that public education is the beacon that we all see it as. Our most important recruiting for our district's future is the attraction of young people to the profession, and those people are walking the hallways in our building. They're seeing unfamiliar faces supervising their classes. They are losing consistency in their routines, watching the adults in the boardroom not agree perhaps on a way forward, on a way to right the ship. And while improved civility and cooperation will help, that will take time and intention. And it takes leadership with vision. Vision is something that doesn't just speak about collaboration, it looks like collaboration. And making sure that our educators, we value them one-to-one. Oh, my kid's teacher is great, but making sure that when we talk about educators in the public discourse, we do it in a supportive and empowering way is I think, the best way to combat the challenge that is surrounding the discourse of public education.
Thank you. Holly, what do you think is the greatest challenge facing the Olathe School District?
Well, apart from funding, I think that the greatest challenge facing the district is a need for strong community engagement. I honestly couldn't agree more with Claire. COVID exposed how weak some of the bonds were between the community and our schools. We need to build meaningful partnerships with community members, parents, guardians. It's crucial for creating supportive and inclusive educational environment. This effort requires enhancing communication channels, encouraging active participation in the decision-making process, and fostering a sense of ownership and collaboration among all stakeholders, and that is every member of our community. I am willing to put in the effort to create those connections, reestablish some that have been broken and lost. I believe that the diversity of our community is one of our greatest strengths, and we need to find common ground again around education, create trusted relationships that address areas that need improvement, and I'm committed to representing each member of our community, advocate for what is best and right for each student, teacher, and taxpayer.
Thank you. All right, Holly, you'll go first on this one. The Olathe School District continuously works to recruit and retain staff in order to sustain quality education programs and services for our students in our district. This includes teachers, paras, and other support positions. And in recent years, the number of college students choosing an education profession has continued to decline, which has created a hardship for the district. What are your thoughts about how the district can reverse this trend and or attract more professionals into the profession?
Well, I loved the angle of attracting more professionals into the profession. I don't know that that is a resource that we've kind of looked at traditionally in K through 12. They do often in higher education go looking in the professional community for kind of a second career type thing, but intriguing to think about that in K through 12. And I think in order to attract those professionals, maybe we need to take a look at what the workday could look like and a little bit of flexible scheduling, especially in hard to hire STEAM professions, so science, technology, electronics, arts, and music. It's really hard for the districts to be competitive with 12-month employers in hiring those highly trained individuals away to come into the classroom. So perhaps being able to teach one class that is a highly specialized class or a lesson, a particular lesson, being able to zoom into a classroom that has adult staff in the classroom for management. Several districts around the state have already tried this with some success, and I'd be intrigued for our Olathe business community to pick that up and run with it. The other option, because teaching is a difficult job and letting professionals try it before they buy it, maybe to try it out a little bit, would be another successful avenue for recruitment. So that was kind of my thought on this.
Great, thank you. Claire, your thoughts on how the district can reverse some of these trends I mentioned and attract more professionals in the profession?
Well, here in Olathe, we are fortunate to not be experiencing the bleak recruitment and retention issues that many rural districts are dealing with, but we must face the stark reality that the pipeline of educators is drying up, and it's drying up very quickly. And while I do appreciate those who find their way into the classroom after pursuing another career, our top priority must be to foster a desire to teach and serve in our public schools and our young people. Not to mention, there's a hiring shortage across the spectrum of careers, and I know a lot of industries need their people to stay in their industry too, so it's kind of a tug of war and a push-pull. And professionals who come from from different fields outside of education offer such great experience, but I do think that the pipeline of education has been powered by young people, and that's where we have to find the disconnect. Some of that course correction could involve efforts by the legislature to offer more student loan assistance programs or other incentives for students who are studying and willing to teach in public school situations. But we also, again, like my previous answer, we have to change the public discourse around public education to something more supportive and positive. Our students notice when careers are afforded respect and professional courtesy, and they see when that is missing. And so if we can work to instill that love of teaching in kids and foster that toward their collegiate careers, I think our pipeline will be strong again.
Thank you. Final question, and Claire, you'll go first on this one. What makes you uniquely qualified to serve on the Olathe School Board and distinguishes you most from your opponent?
Well, I have seen public education from many angles. A former English teacher, a current sub, a parent, and an advocate, and I can wear many different hats and look beyond my own point of view when engaging in discussions. And as a board member, I am prepared to make decisions for the betterment of our district, even if they may not be what's in the best immediate district of my family. Leadership means looking at the broad picture to see what is best for our population of 28,000 students. I also understand how boards work. So I currently serve on several at the city, county, and state levels. And in this time of hostility toward public education, I have spoken publicly about my values. And I have addressed our school board, our city council, and our county commission, and have always conducted myself in a way that honors the work that our educators do to guide our students to become the best versions of themselves. I am a teacher, I am a parent, and I am an advocate, and I have shown my commitment to bettering our community, and I want nothing more than to shore up and strengthen our school district for the future.
Thank you. Holly, what makes you uniquely qualified to serve on the Olathe School Board and distinguishes you most from your opponent?
I am an advocate, not an activist. As an advocate, I have fought for quality public education for each student and for all students at local and state levels for over a decade. As a special needs parent, advocate, and believer in the right of every student to a quality public education, I do not have an agenda to bring to the board. I have the lens of an advocate. Students' needs are the first priority, but students need teachers that are appreciated, invested in, and supported. Students need parents that are treated as partners in a community that is active and engaged in supporting public education. As a candidate, I am unique in listening to all voices and each perspective, learning from each person and position, and I will lead our district with civility and integrity through the challenges ahead.
Thank you. Okay, now each candidate, and we'll start with Holly first. You're going to have 2 minutes to make a closing statement. So Holly, you'll go first. 2 minutes is yours.
Okay. Thank you very much, sincerely, for this opportunity to address each and every one of you. I do honestly believe that our business community's support and engagement with public education is the key to future success for every student in our district. So I really do appreciate this opportunity. I come as a person who likes to listen first. I tend not to talk first, and there are a lot of voices right now that simply want to have the discussion and be heard. Our teachers, our students, they need a voice, and that means listening to what they are saying. Our teachers in particular. So I would ask for your support in November. This election, a local-only election, is so very important. Registration to vote for this election ends October 17th. The advanced voting begins October 28th, and of course, Election Day, November 7th. So I would ask for your support. Please reach out to me with questions, concerns at Holly, FOR@OlatheKids.com. I would love to hear from you, and I really would appreciate your support this election. Thank you.
Thank you. Claire, your 2 minute closing statement.
Yeah, well, So this has been such a wonderful experience to get to share my values and my experiences with you all. And the last 5 years since we moved to the city of Olathe, despite living in the Olathe School District for longer than that, I have been actively engaged in our community. I've done the Olathe Civic Academy, the Johnson County Citizens Academy, I've done Leadership Olathe, because I want to learn about our community, learn who's in it, understand their points of view, and lead from a sense of understanding. And I feel like I've made those relationships and built those bridges well in advance of trying to earn a seat on the Olathe School Board. I've sought to understand who we are in order to learn who we could be as a community. The fabric of our community is woven together by our public schools, and together we can be champions of our Olathe School District, encouraging our kids and support for our teachers. We can connect families and strengthen our community for the future. I will also say that as a mom of young kiddos, I've immersed myself in getting involved in our schools early. I try to pick up the slack when there are places of need, and am somebody who's willing to put in the work and take the time. And so I look forward to earning your vote this November. You can learn more about me and the campaign at reagan4olathe.com. My name is Claire Reagan. I am a teacher, I am a parent, and I'm an advocate, and it would be my great honor to serve on our Olathe School Board. Thank you for all that you do to support our kids and our community from the business side. We would not be anywhere without you, and together we can take our district forward. Thank you.
Thank you both. So this concludes our forum for Olathe School Board Member 4, Position 4. Thank you both, Claire and Holly, for your participating in today's program. We appreciate it. For more information about the candidates, videos of these and other candidate forums, and advanced voting details, you can visit www.votejoco.com. I'm going to butcher that forever. And please share this voter resource with your colleagues, family, and friends. Again, www.votejoco.com. And on behalf of the Olathe Chamber of Commerce, thank you to everyone taking advantage of this important opportunity to learn about these candidates and others. Best of luck to both of you on your campaigns. Thank you.